Okay, welcome to Jupiter's Bible study. Um, I felt like I wanted to come on here because you know when you want to talk about something, but you've probably talked about it a little bit too much to like the closest people to you, whether it's family or friends. And then of course you may just not even feel comfortable talking about it to a stranger, even if they mean well, even if there's neon lights pointing at that person saying, hey, I want to talk. It's okay for you to talk to me. You still may not feel comfortable. The dynamic of a friendship has changed with a best friend of mine. And I feel like I'm taking it well, but also it's a sadness within me, and I want to get better at recognizing it and giving it a space, like making time to talk about it. But I'm coming on here and I'm talking to probably one viewer. Even if it's one, I'm fine with that. The point of this channel is to let people know that you are not alone in your walk, your Christian walk, your spiritual walk. I say Christian, but I'm just now going back to church, and when I'm there, it's not like, there's some pastors that can convey the word really well, and then there's pastors that it's a hit or miss. Me being in a place where there are people that are there for the right reasons is enough for me, because I feel blessed. I feel a little bit more at peace. So I know when I was younger, it was important for me to get something out of it when I went to church. But as I'm older, I know that my effort outside of church is just as important as me coming to church. And like I said, whether the sermon is a hit or miss, it is what it is. I am in a place where one or more gather. That means that God is there. He is present. So the dynamic of a friendship of mine with my best friend has changed, and it is a sadness because I think that what is going on with me, the journey that I am on right now, I think is too much for that person, and maybe they have their own thing going on and they're trying to heal as well. I'm not gonna lie, I did expect more support because that's how close we were, but unfortunately, sometimes you're not gonna get back what you put out. And I don't want to be mad. I don't want to harbor it and then it create these thoughts in my head about, how unfair it is for this person to not be supporting me right now. I don't want to do that, because I think that if the dynamic of the friendship changes, like if we don't even communicate every day, I'm used to communicating with this person every day, and now that we are not communicating with each other, it is a sadness within me. I don't think that person is sad, and I really don't know. I probably shouldn't go into like, is the person sad that they're not there for me? Like, I don't even want to go into that train of thought. But I'm coming on here for however many minutes to just offer support to anyone listening. If you need me to pray for you, if you're on a journey right now and the dynamics of your friendship or the dynamic of a family member, like the relationship you have with them has changed, I just want you to know that I'm here. And when it feels like you may not have any friends, just know that you have a friend in Jesus. You have a friend in God. well, God is more than our friend, right? He is our Father, but he can also be that friend for us because he knows exactly what we're feeling and what we're going through. And so I'm glad that I came on to, I'm really glad that I came on to just record and be a blessing to someone out there, whoever. Is this a podcast now? Because before, if you look at my other videos, I'm just literally reading the Bible. I'm in Lamentations. Right now, I am in Matthew. And there are other books that interest me as well. But right now, I am in the book of Matthew. And then in the last video, I came across the book of Jude because I was in the Bible app and I looked up archangel and, you know, if there's any reference to archangels, and one reference did pop up, and it was in the book of Jude. And so, thank you for listening. I feel like that's what I wanted to say. I didn't really want to harp on how different the relationship is because it's still happening. Like, I'm taking it day by day. I'm actually not trying to pay too much attention to it in that way. I'm trying to look at it positively for myself and for my best friend. And yes, distance is going to be put between us. We're not going to talk every day, and it's going to feel like one or the other doesn't care. But, you know, I care. And actually, there was something that happened when I reached out to that person. And basically, I don't think that the people around that person think that I'm good for that person. And it hurts because when you are going through something and you are on your journey, you wouldn't think that the closest person to you, the people that love that person, would find you to be like not good for their family member. You know, it hurts, but I want to move forward, and I want to go into prayer. I want to go into my word, and I just want to remember that God is with me, and he sent his son to die on the cross for my sins and everyone's sins. So I will have peace in that, and I will try to control my train of thought. And that's why I am constantly trying to put the word in me. If I can listen to something that's positive. Is this like a Christian podcast? Yeah, you could say it's a Christian podcast. I know there's a lot of debates about Christianity and what it stems from, and how could I be a part of something that was pushed upon me, forced upon me. And I would say that without me knowing much about the history, you know, this is what brings me peace, and this is what I believe in. I believe that God sent his son to die for our sins, and so that we can be able to ask forgiveness for our sins, for the sins that we commit. You know, he died for us to be able to do that. And so I hope you enjoyed this video or this audio, and I'll talk to you soon. Okay, so I wanted to add to the previous audio, and right now, like I said, I am in the book of Matthew, but I'm also in the Psalms, and I'm going to read from the 2nd chapter of Psalms, verse 1. And it says, "Why do the nations conspire and the people plot in vain? The kings of the earth rise up, and the rulers band together against the Lord and against his anointed, saying, let us break their chains and throw off their shackles. The one enthroned in heaven laughs. The Lord scoffs at them. He rebukes them in his anger and terrifies them in his wrath, saying, I have instilled my king on Zion, my holy mountain. I will proclaim the Lord's decree. He said to me, you are my son. Today I have become your father. Ask me, and I will make the nations your inheritance, the ends of the earth your possession. You will break them with a rod of iron. You will dash them to pieces like pottery. And so when I think about what's going on right now in the world, and I'm not up on the news as much as someone that just generally looks at the news because I am seeking peace. But this question in the first chapter of Psalms chapter 2 verse 1, why do the nations conspire and the peoples plot in vain? The kings of the earth rise up and the rulers band together against the Lord and against his anointed, saying, let us break their chains and throw off their shackles. And that in verse 3, let us break their chains and throw off their shackles, it makes me think of how social media, when people have platforms, a person may think, oh, they're free to say and do what they want. And so this third verse saying, let us break their chains and throw off their shackles, it could make someone think that that's freedom. Like, why do you have to have chains on and shackles when you believe in God and are a Christian? And from what I've read, the chains and shackles aren't a bad thing, because if you don't have something, if you think of shackles, of course it's in a you may think of it as negative, because shackles are, if someone is in a jail, but beyond a jail, like a poorly ran jail, or chains, like someone is chained up. But really, being in chains and shackles for God is a good thing. And I'm going to tell you why it's a good thing. Because we don't know that we are in chains and shackles for something out there in the world, whether it's social media, whether it's alcohol, drugs. We're in shackles with many things when we consider ourselves free from the shackles and chains of God. And so, would you rather be in chains and shackles for God, or would you rather be in chains and shackles for things that don't care about you? Social media doesn't care about you. It doesn't care that it's overloading your brain, that is stressing you out, that is giving you a false sense of friendships, or how to treat people, or how to go about relationships. That, it's there, and whatever happens to you when you inhale all that, it's on you. But to be in chains and to be in shackles for God, that means that you are bound by the word, and so you follow a positive and good decree for your life, and it will help you with your interactions. It will help you within your relationships, and it will guide you when you come across things and you're unsure if it's good or it's bad. It will, that's discernment. You will be able to discern whether you should do something or whether you shouldn't do something. So I'm just going to continue. Let's see. The one enthroned in heaven laughs. The Lord scoffs at them. He rebukes them in his anger and terrifies them in his wrath. And it's true that, some people say, well, why is God terrifying people? Why is he angry? Well, just like if you have a father or a father figure, our fathers get angry. When our parents see us going down a bad path, they may terrify us to not go down that path and to turn and go down a better path. So if you think about someone trying to get you to do something, a person may talk politely, they may talk repeatedly, and it may be nice, but then after a certain point, they may get angry, and they may use different tactics that may scare you. Now, one could say, well, why would you have to do that? Well, because you're not listening, and because this is dangerous, and because someone that cares about you doesn't want you to go down that path, they have to resort to different tactics. Now, I don't want anyone to think that terrifying tactics is the way. I'm talking about God. And so whatever way he does what he does, I believe is for our betterment. And so I'm going to wrap it up and piece this together with my other audio recording. Maybe down the line, I will come on camera and, have scriptures, like a book that I want to talk about, and scriptures I want to go over. But this will be about probably like 18 minutes or so. So I hope that you get something out of it. Please be blessed and be a blessing. Okay, so I wanted to add to the previous audio, and right now, like I said, I am in the book of Matthew, but I'm also in the Psalms, and I'm going to read from the 2nd chapter of Psalms, verse 1. And it says, "Why do the nations conspire and the people plot in vain? The kings of the earth